Right now, okay, let's talk about this movie, okay? I went to see it on Monday. It blew me away. It is a wonderful movie. What do you think about this, Daniel? I know it's been out in the States since November. What do you think about this? I wished and I hope that half of what happens in the movie happens in real life. And I wish and I hope that half of what happens in the movie doesn't happen in real life. Unfortunately, I think they're the wrong way round. And the things I don't want to happen probably will or have.
Yeah.
And the things I do want to happen probably won't.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean by that?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Right. How do we talk about it? There's been talk about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah. Badlands.
Yeah, Badlands as well.
Badlands, yeah. It's that kind of like on the run, like, and just having to deal with people. That's what I love about it, because it's the incident happens and they have to throw their phones away.
Yeah.
So they throw their options away.
Yeah.
So basically they have to, when they disconnect, they're able to connect.
Yeah. So really, as opposed to virtually. So when you say they, who are they? Who are the two main characters that in every scene in the film, basically?
It's Queen and Slim, and they're on a Tinder date that's going bad. And he's very entitled and like eats her food and thinks he can get laid still and whatever. Yeah. And she's just not into him, but is bored.
Right. And he does what for a living?
He works at Costco's.
Okay. And she is a qualified lawyer.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? And as you say, so something happens and it literally takes your breath away. And things like that have happened. As you know, as far as past sort of on the road Bonnie and Clyde-esque things, you know, they in the beginning they sort of did something wrong. Your two characters haven't done anything wrong, and that's the difference here, isn't it? They're on the run through no fault at all of their own.
Yeah, well, it's the narrative that's put upon them. Yeah, that they have to kind of live in and navigate through. And if you have the audacity to say no, then things go dark. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do.
So it's one of those.
But it's also funny.
Yeah.
How do you make a film like that's so clever, isn't it?
But it's like, but that's what it is in crazy situations. You have a laugh. Like I've had great times at funerals. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like because you have to find hope, and that's what I loved about the script and the film, is that there's so many moments of joy, so many moments of hope because you have to. Because at the end of the day, there's like it's got one life. You might as well just live it to the fullest. Yeah. And they just realize that, and once they live that philosophy, they're able to kind of see each other and take away all the guards and the obstacles that they were putting in each other's way and go, listen, we've got more in common than we realised. And
also, we were talking about it yesterday, you know, really to life there is no downside because we're not getting out of it alive.
No.
But it's trying to sort of parachute that truth into every moment. But in your character situations, that is fast tracked, and it's not you know, often asked, you know, if you only had one more day to live, what would you do? But you have a pal in the same situation. I mean, there's two of you.
Yeah, but that's what's fascinating. They don't like each other.
They don't like each other, but they have nothing to lose. Yeah. And they realise that because they're the only two people in this situation in the world, and the world is watching, and they are hiding and they are running. What does that do to you?
Yeah.
You know?
But also as well is like there's the icon status that's been put upon them, and they're just regular people trying to get by. They just did something that they just got themselves in a situation, and how that sometimes feels like. They don't know. They didn't. The film doesn't end up with them like saying speeches about revolution. It's just like they're just trying to get somewhere. And then they're trying to figure it out because they're just human beings, and the reality of being in the middle of projection. Yeah. And they're it starts with a different kind of projection, and then it morphs into another kind of projection from their community. Yeah. And what that means for their lives and the opinions and views that they meet along the way.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? Because in every extraordinary situation involving human beings are ordinary human beings. Mm-hmm. So the situation is, in this case, it's extraordinary on steroids, isn't it? It's nuclear extraordinary. Yeah. But in the middle of it all, in the eye of the storm, is the stillness, the foibles, is the vulnerability, the strength, the uncertainty.
Yeah, I think they just, especially Queen, just wants to be accepted. Just wants to be loved. You know what I'm saying? It's what we all want, no? Do you know what I mean?
I think so, don't you?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's all right. Do you know what I mean? It's all right. A couple of texts.
It's also like a Top Gear special. There are so many cars in it, aren't there? Fun. Yes.
It's great cars. It was so fun. Like a new car would pop up.
Yeah, you start with
It's
a Honda.
beautiful because I went Cuba before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll go in Cuba. And I went there. I'm like, have you been Cuba?
No, I've not.
The
It's one of
cars are
I
insane.
know. This is what I'm hearing.
And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm a car person. I didn't really realize I was a car person like that. And that's what Queen and Slim was like.
Yeah.
You show up every few days and I'm like, well, that's amazing. But Melina Matsuka's the director. Her aesthetic is she's so particular, so detailed. She directed the Formation video, Beyonce.
Right.
And so she's so on it. So everything looks stunning.
Okay, so your two characters. He works in Costco. She is a lawyer. She's had a particularly bad day at the office. Can you remember why that is? Do you remember
Yeah, her client is going to be executed.
Yeah, so he's been on death row for a while. She thought he was going to get off, and she just wants some company. So she goes onto Tinder, and you end up in this restaurant. You end up eating. Your character ends up eating, having dinner with her, and hoping for things maybe to progress somewhat
Into the bedroom.
the bedroom.
And she doesn't want to
that's
go to the
not gonna
bedroom. She
happen.
wants to get dropped at the door.
Right, so she takes your character's phone, and you snatch it back, and the snatching back causes you to swerve your car.
Yeah.
It's just the swerving of a car.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Then an officer has been trailing us and pulls us over.
Mm-hmm.
So the officer pulls us over and then goes, you swerved the car. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm so
Failed
sorry.
to indicate.
Failed to indicate. I'm so sorry, this, that, and the other. Takes the man's details, his ID, and then was like, all right, cool, I'm going to check. Cool, goes off and checks. Then the officer comes back, goes, you have to get out of the car, we're going to do a full search.
Yeah.
Her being a lawyer, she's like, wait, hold on, you need a warrant
Yeah.
for that. And he's like, the guy, Slim, is like, please calm down.
Yeah.
I've got this situation.
In a way, you sort of change characters here, don't you?
Yeah.
You become like, no, it's all right, it's fine.
It's fine,
I've
yeah.
not had a bad day. I work at Costco. My life's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I know tonight's not going to work out the way I wanted it to, but there's no need for this.
Yeah. So then it goes, does a search, this, that, and the other, checks him, finds nothing. Opens the boot. He's got a load of trainers in his boot, finds nothing. We actually shot this in the middle of a polar vortex.
Right.
So it was like, we had to have a 15-minute break every hour. It was that cold.
I wondered why there was snow around. Was that just because there was snow around?
Yeah, there was snow.
I thought, why have they put the snow in there? What's that mean?
Insane. But then what happened was that I said a line that triggered that wouldn't have happened if we weren't there. And I was just like, he was checking the boot. And he's like, yeah. And Slim's like, yo, it's cold.
Can you hurry up, please, sir?
Can you hurry up, please, sir? It's cold. And he's like, what'd you say? I said, it's cold. Like, and then the officer pulls his gun out and says, get on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, uh-oh. Like, he gets on his knees like, look, I haven't done anything wrong.
Should we leave it there? Because I'll tell you why. I know you don't mind saying what happens next, but it's so shocking what happens next. And things like that have happened.
I'm not shocked by it. I understand how things can escalate because of the perceptions of skin colour.
No, I'm not shocked by it from that point of view. But when you see it, it's still shocking.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's quite kind of like, it's always like, I've been in a situation where it just escalates, and you're just like, what's going on here?
How is this happening?
How have you got here?
Yeah.
And you're just like, and then that's what's fascinating is Slim is in a situation where you're just out of control. And you think you're making all the right decisions, all the right choices. Like, I'm being nice, I'm being cool, I'm being like, and it's just not in your control.
It's not working.
Yeah.
Okay, so something happens next. You might be able to guess what happens next, but you won't guess how it happens, and you will still be entirely shocked by what happens next. And then it's throw away the phones, let's go, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then it's the rest of the film.
Yeah. That's the first 12 minutes. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
That's what I love about the film as well. You start right in the middle of the date.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're just like these two people just at a diner, just talking, and they're not compatible.
And where's this going to go? And how long is it going to last for? And who's on their side? Who's not on their side? Who's on their side that they don't realise is on their side?
Yeah.
And who's against them that they think is with them?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so it's been out in the States since November, released here tomorrow. How's it done there?
It's done really well. It's done really well in the States, and it's like caused a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
Because it's provocative.
Yeah.
And but it's shown people themselves, and I don't want to impose into you should think this, you should feel this about the film. it's supposed to reveal yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I enjoy when like you watch something and go, oh my God, I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know that I cared about that, or I didn't care about that. I didn't know I cared about this perspective, or I didn't even know this perspective. And so there's a lot of reactions, but it's really connected with audiences out there.
It's funny because it's not actually a hard watch. You know what I mean by that? It's a big old subject. It's a big meaty subject, and quite right so. But it's not a difficult watch.
Yeah.
It's a really enjoyable watch. Can you say that about a film like this? Of course you can. Can't
Yeah,
you?
it is, because it's a classic narrative. It's like on the run. You know what I mean? It's like a road trip movie, essentially. And they're just on the run and trying to figure out, and it's beautiful to look at.
It is beautiful.
And so you're kind of like, and it's funny. There's moments where it's just really funny and it's back and forth, and there's some characters that are hilarious that they meet because how they react to crazy situations is really funny.
It was so funny watching it in the preview theatre with some really big hitters in the business, in this business that I do. So it's going to get talked about a lot, as it has done over the pond. But there were some very recognisable faces in that preview theatre, and people laughing at different places. It was fantastic. Yeah. The first thing I did when I left was I went to check it to see if it's a true story or not, because I tried to find out as little about the films as possible before I watched them. Then I try and find out everything about them. I think that's the best way around. Yeah. But it's not a true story.
No.
Okay, but it's an amalgam of things that have happened and I say could happen.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a dramatic irony. It's kind of like, it's just like a turn on its head. And if this actually happened in real life, what would happen? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
And please, God, let it never happen.
Please, yeah. Everyone should just respect each other and see each other and be compassionate.
Yeah, it's all about other people, not about other things.
Yeah.
What you have will never be yours, but who you love, maybe you got a chance. Thank you, Daniel.
That's deep, man.
Well, welcome to this.
What time is it? 8:55?
Yeah, but we've been up since 3.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.